camps on our southern border. The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. And if that doesn't bother you, we can have, okay, whatever. I want to talk to the people that are concerned enough with humanity to say that we should not, that never again means something. And that the fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing.
In all my years, I've heard politicians say interesting things. But this one is the most interesting. See, I'm not an American. I've never stepped foot on American soil. I'm an Eastern European, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around how this works. So, there are people coming all the way from Guatemala, and they're traveling hundreds of kilometers in order to get to the US, so they're put in a concentration camp. Because I'm really curious to find out what is going on in those camps, because they seem to be like the only camps in human history where people are trying to jump the fence to get in. Either that, or maybe there's a different explanation. Maybe the rest of the world has ended and it's apocalypse everywhere, and the only safe place is in the United States, so people are risking that in order to jump the border, huh? Which one is it? Is Mexico a dystopian place, or are the US concentration camps so appealing that people can't wait to get in them? Now, let's assume for a fact that the US is literally that racist that it's becoming the Fourth Reich, and they're putting people in concentration camps. Wouldn't you want to warn people about it? Like, tell them, don't come here, it's bad? Wouldn't advocating for people to come in until this problem allegedly gets fixed be against any sort of ethics and human decency? Well, we all know that there are no concentration camps in the United States. It's just what happens to people who break the law. Like, if I were to go with a kid and I trespass on someone else's property, I'm going to be put in some sort of county jail, and I'm going to be separated from the child, which is going to be put in a child institution while we're waiting trial. Like, this is what happens. It's normal. All right? In every country that has the rule of law, you commit a crime, you're being detained until the trial, unless you pay out for bail. But in the case of people that are coming from other places, like another country, and they're committing the crime of jumping the border, they could have gone legally. Like, they could have gotten through the main door, but no, they choose to break through the window. Well, in that case, you need to find out who they are. You need to find out, do some screening before you're giving them permission to stay if they deserve asylum, or you send them back if they don't deserve asylum. As for the kids, you need to even find out if they're their kids to begin with. Because apparently child trafficking does exist, and the child traffickers, believe it or not, are going to lie. Of course this is my kid. Yeah, absolutely. All of them, they're mine. Yes. Do you think they're going to admit and say, oh, no, see, you caught me, and this isn't really my kid. See, I'm trafficking him for prostitution. Now, don't take my word for it. Apparently, there's this article that points out that most of their kids don't recognize their mothers. It's like, how on earth can you not recognize your mom? Like, what would have to happen to you? Seriously, like, what hurdle would you need to go through that you don't recognize your mother? Like, this is even a biological hardwired instinct that every living creature recognizes their mother. So you're looking at it, and you're trying to make sense of it, and you're trying to be charitable. Like, honestly, I want to try to understand the point of view from the other side. I genuinely do. It's like, what do you think should happen to people who commit a crime? Nothing. Let them in. Well, how do you know they're not wanted in the country they're coming from? Like, what if they, I don't know, committed tax evasion in Mexico and they want to go to US in order to escape the Mexican authorities? What if they're committing child trafficking? What if they're doing, what if they have some disease? No screening, no nothing. Just let them in. All of them. Okay, so no borders. No borders. Well, If there's no borders, that mean that the US can send an FBI task force without the Mexican government approval to crack down on the cartels? Oh no, because that's imperialism. See, like this ideology doesn't make any sense. I'm really trying to figure out and understand it. It just doesn't. Now, if you look at it from the sense that some rich people, some privileged twats in the US want cheap labor, and they want to hire a cheap nanny, and they want to hire some people that they can exploit and overwork. Because if you have an illegal, right, he's not a citizen, so he can't go to the authorities to complain if you're mishandling him. Oh, then that makes perfect sense. All of a sudden, yeah, the more the merrier. But anyway, let's go back to the whole thing that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said about Americans running concentration camps. Well, apparently some Jewish people disagree.
My name is David Tuck.
AOC, look at me.
My name is David Tuck.
My name is Sammy Steigman. I am a Holocaust survivor.
I'm a Holocaust survivor. I was in 4 concentration camp. We have no concentration camps here. This is just a political comment.
I went through it. How can you, looking at my face, telling me that the camps that we have in the South are concentration camps? What you are doing, you are insulting every victim of the Holocaust. Shame on you.
She's in politics. She's looking out for herself. There must be a purpose, a reason. Why would she say it? She wants to be popular? You can't be popular, but annihilating other people. Don't talk to me about concentration camps. I was the first camp was Posen Stadium, and then I went to Auschwitz, then I went to Mauthausen, then I went to Gusen. From every 10 Jews, 9 were killed. I was lucky. I still have the number on my arm. Nobody can deny that the Holocaust never happened to me.
I'm not only a Holocaust survivor, I was in a labor camp. What happened is I was subjected to medical experiments, and later on a German woman saved my life when came a stage that I was dying of starvation.
Think about it. When I lived in bread and water, I wake up in the morning and I said, please God, let me see the light the next day. When I heard that we are free, and I looked up in the sky and said, tell me, where can I go? And I came to America.
I've went through it. I knew what it does to people. And by doing that, it took away my incentive to be the best that I can be. I achieved that goal here in the United States.
I'm finished with those words, America. Send the kids to school. Make sure they have education. It's still the best country in the world. Enjoy life. We have no concentration camps here. God bless you all. Thank you.
Whatever happened to Godwin's law, where it states that when you start talking about the Nazis, you kind of lose the argument? Nowadays, it's Nazi this, Nazi that, Nazi. Every single time you go on the internet, especially on the Twitter. But the story doesn't end here. You now have a member of the parliament from Poland, Dominik Tarczyński. I hope I didn't mispronounce his name. Dear Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, my name is Dominik, and I am a member of the parliament in Poland, where I serve as the chairman of the subcommittee of the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. I'm also a great fan and friend of the United States of America. I write to you out of distress in having learned of your recent statements regarding concentration camps. As you should be aware, the National Socialist German Working Party, who led Germany, were responsible for the darkest period in my country and our whole continent's history by devising a chain of concentration camps in order to exterminate those who they believe were subhuman or a threat to their imperialistic machinations. This included both Jewish Poles and non-Jewish Poles, and which resulted in the loss of 6 million of our citizens. While under German Nazi occupation, a number of concentration camps were set up into my country, Poland, it has caused a deep wound that persists to our proud Polish and European history, that we must all deal with every single day, and that we reaffirm to one another can never be forgotten and never allowed to happen again. This is why when someone cheapens history or uses it for political point scoring, we became agitated and upset. I understand that there are heightened tensions in our politics right now, but I would urge severe caution in attempting to leverage phrases such as concentration camp for political ends. It will go nowhere good. With this in mind, however, I wish to extend the olive branch of education to you. He wants to educate her. Congresswoman, and would be delighted if you would accept my offer to come to Poland and study the concentration camps here for real, so that you can see first at hand how different it is from your immigration processing centers of the US border. At your convenience, we could visit Auschwitz, Birkenau, Treblinka, Bletsk, Sobibor, and Majdanek. And these camps and others, over 3 million human souls were extinguished and millions more detained and affected directly. I look forward from hearing back to you with the hope up a trip to my country soon. You speak of bipartisanship, and I feel this is an area in particular where we can begin to live that ideal. Now, I predicted two things when I saw this. Number one is that she's going to ignore the Holocaust survivors, which, as far as I know, I was correct. I haven't seen her answer to them or even address that little clip. And my second prediction was that she's going to call the Polish politician a Nazi, and she's going to say that he is trying to push her into a concentration camp. And people wonder how I make these predictions. Like, do I have a crystal ball or something? No, I use the past in order to predict the future. So if you have a person that considers a challenge to debate to be akin to sexual harassment, you kind of understand the mentality of that person and how she's going to respond in the future. So in this case, yeah, she did imply that the person who is doing the invitation is very problematic because he met with fringe Austrian neo-Nazi groups. But press X to doubt, the woman sees Nazi concentration camps everywhere, even on US soil, so I don't think she is equipped with the tools to make the accurate predictions of what is and what isn't neo-Nazi. But even then, like, let's assume that is true. Just because someone meets with someone doesn't mean they agree. Like, if the guy would have met with communists, would that make him a communist? If he would have met with feminists, would that make him a feminist? No, it's always to the right, isn't it? It's always to the right. So if you're caught in a picture with some unsavory person from the right, the media will say, oh, now you're right-wing, because you're in that picture. Why did you shook hands with that guy? It's like, well, did he agree with that guy? Did he have any common points? It's like, well, no, we don't know, but he was there. And it's a ridiculous standard that only people from the far left believe. And it's usually a tool in order to attack people that you don't like what they have to say. Like, for example, in this case, right? So she's now considering that the guy is far right because, not because he has far right talking points or he has far right politics. No, it's because he met with someone that she believes to be far right. I mean, heck, I'm an atheist. I guess if I meet with a Christian, that's going to get me excommunicated from the atheist club, huh? Or if I meet with a Muslim, I guess that makes me a Muslim. How does this work? Huh? If I take a picture with a feminist, does that make me a feminist? Right? There's no logic in this, and it doesn't have to be logic. It's all about emotions. It's all about the feelings. So I guess inviting her to see the difference between the concentration camps and the way the U.S. deals with detaining illegal immigrants is a way that the far right manipulates these moments for political gain. What these moments? You mean you making the claim that the US is becoming like the fourth right? This is the moment that's being manipulated, huh? But here's the thing, right? I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is incredibly smart. You can't become a US politician unless you have some wheels turning into your head and you're capable of making some thought. I think that she's very disingenuous, though. I think that she knows exactly what she's doing. I think she knows the base that she has and the people that follow her and how to get them to think in a certain way. And this is what's happening here, right? Like, she knows that they're not the same, which is why she's not even interested in visiting them. Which is why she's not going to address the Holocaust survivors, and which is why she's being so disingenuous to this politician. She knows that they're absolutely different things, but she also knows that the people who follow her don't care. And it's very easy to manipulate them by saying shocking things, by saying things that are out of the ordinary, and doing this inflammatory fear-mongering. She gets what she wants. And it's going to be interesting to see if she manages to maintain her seat. I understand that the people in her constituency aren't really happy with her because she managed to spook a big business that was going to create jobs. Doesn't look really good. And things like this don't look good either, by the way. It's like even the people that support her, not all of them are really that unintelligent. Like some of them realize that there is a conversation going on with Holocaust survivors that she refuses to address. And I think that this is definitely going to cause her to lose points. And the fact that she wants to impeach Trump and is pushing this hard while the business Democrats aren't supporting that, and also the business Democrats don't really like when they get veiled threats from her, she's going to get ostracized. So we're going to see how this plays out. This is why I said that I'm kind of happy that people from the far left managed to get into the U.S. Senate. Because see, I'm not like them. I don't believe that silencing people work. By all means, give them a platform. And now you have these people from the far left that are in the public spotlight, and people see the craziness and the insanity that spews from their mouth. And the way they do business by having a very active fan base that with one tweet, they will start to harass other people online. And it doesn't look good. So we'll see if she manages to get reelected as well as people like her. Do let me know what you think. Looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section.